Hello Bookish friends, welcome to another Try a Chapter video. In today's Try a Chapter video, I will read one chapter from the books that had been on my Goodreads TBR for the longest time. And also the first book in series. After reading those chapters, I will decide if I want to read the book and keep it on my Goodreads TBR or take it out of my TBR list. Books that I will try a chapter of are The Cuckoo's Calling, the first book in Cornwell Strike series by Robert Galbraith, otherwise known as J.K. Rowling, of course. The Winter King by Bernard Kowal, the first book in The Warlord Chronicles. The Hanover Square Affair by Ashley Gardner, the first book in Captain Lacey series. Shades of Milk and Honey by Mary Robinette Kowal, which is the first book in Glamorous Histories series. And last but of course not least, I will try a chapter of My Man Jeeves by P.J. Wodehouse, which is the beginning book of the Jeeves series. First book that I will try a chapter of is The Cuckoo's Calling, the first book in Cornwell Strike book series. I have heard that this series is very different from her Harry Potter series, and some of my booktube friends, whom I trust their taste, really liked this series. However, there are also some friends who thinks that this series is not good, so I decided to try for myself. So I listened to first the prologue and then first chapter of The Cuckoo's Calling by Robert Galbraith. In the first section, a crime scene is described. Although the boyfriend of a very famous couple has been suspected as the murderer, it looks like the also famous girlfriend has committed suicide. And in the first chapter, we follow Robin, who has been proposed by her boyfriend just last night, comes to a job interview, finds that she is interviewed to be an assistant of a private detective who is Cornwell Strike. It looks like both of her Robin's dreams are about to come true. Now I will listen to the first chapter of The Winter King by Bernard Cornwell. I've added this book to my TBR because I'm really interested in reading more about the Arthurian legend, and this series is one of the praised series about the legend of King Arthur. I listened to the first chapter of The Winter King by Bernard Cornwell. In this first chapter, we are first introduced to the narrator, and then the birth of Arthur is described in detail. Now I will try the first chapter of The Hanover Square Affair by Ashley Gardner. I have the e-copy of the book, and I remember adding this book because it was a historical mystery with a hint of romance, which is a subgenre that I like very much. I read the first chapter of The Hanover Square Affair by Ashley Gardner. In this first chapter, we follow an unknown narrator who is witnessing a chaotic situation in which a man protests about another man living in Hanover Square, number 22, and protesting that he has killed him by taking away the most precious thing that he owns. Our narrator has no idea what this man is talking about. I also have the ebook copy of the next book that I will try, which is Shades of Milk and Honey. I actually edited this book with a similar intention, which was to read a historical mystery series with a touch of romance. I read the first chapter of Shades of Milk and Honey by Mary Robinette Kowal. And in this first chapter, a gentleman has two daughters. However, they are not to inherit his fortune. His younger brother has a son who will inherit the fortune and the house. He's really trying matchmaking efforts to marry both of his daughters. Though he thinks Melody, his younger daughter, will find a husband because she's quite pretty, he is a bit concerned for Jane, elder daughter, and he suggests a potential suitor to Jane. But Jane is more interested in Mr. Dunkirk, who seems to be giving her sister Melody more affection. Lastly, I will listen to the first chapter of the book that I'm actually most excited to try a chapter, which is my Man Jeeves by P.J. Wodehouse. I have heard so many good things about P.J. Wodehouse's writing style and how funny it is. The series has been praised so highly by many of my friends. I listened to the half of the first chapter of My Man Jeeves by P.J. Wodehouse. This book is actually a collection of short stories, and in the beginning of the first short story, a character named Wooster is telling the story of his artist friend Corky, and how Jeeves shapes the relationship between Wooster and his friend, an artist who's living by his uncle's allowance money. After reading the first chapters of the 5 books, I've decided to DNF 2 of them. I was very sure about the first one, which was the Hanover Square affair. There was something about Ashley Gardner's writing style which I didn't like. And I also thought that the narrator's words did not seem sympathetic. And I've also decided not to read The Winter King by Bernard Cornwell. Although the writing style of Bernard Cornwell was significantly better, I did not feel interested enough in the plot to commit to a book series with quite hefty books. And I've decided to keep 3 books on my Goodreads TBR. First one was The Cuckoo's Calling by Robert Galbraith. I always like detective series, which is of course an advantage over the others. And I also really liked the description of the crime scene, and I could picture all of the details in my head by just listening to the audiobook. And the writing style of J.K. Rowling is always very good in my opinion. Another book that I really liked the writing style was Shades of Milk and Honey by Mary Robinette Kowal. I'm always in the mood for historical romance, and the character of Jane seemed very real, being attracted to the potential suitor of her sister could be seen as a character flaw, but it actually makes her more relatable since we are also faulty as humans. And the book that I liked the most was My Man Jeeves. This book has a humor that I liked very much. The format of short stories always works in such humorous books for me. In summary, the number of books on my Goodreads TBR after this video, in which I tried a chapter of my TBR Vets series, decreased by 2, which is of course a contribution to my yearly reading challenge of increasing the number of my Goodreads TBR by 50 books by the end of the year. Please comment down below. Have you read any of the books or the series that I've tried the chapter of? And what do you think of them? If you're a new viewer, first of all, welcome. Please like and subscribe. Hope to see you very soon. Bye. As for Turkish word of the day, I'm going to choose milk. Milk means süt in Turkish, and süt is our Turkish word of the day. Have a good day.